Alright everybody, we're back with another video. Notably, the 350th episode of Drunkview.
Yep. What a disappointing one to land on. 300 was fucking Barbenheimer, 350
350 is a stinker that's at least marginally related to our channel because it's both a movie and a video game movie.
True.
Video game movie called Borderlands. So Aiden, what's the plot of Borderlands?
Borderlands is an adaptation of the game Borderlands. In it, Kate Blanchett, who is too old for the part, plays Lilith the Siren, and she returns to Pandora in order to find a missing little girl who's Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Shenanigans ensue, and by shenanigans I mean poopy jokes and PG-13 non-violent action scenes. And through that, they do Borderlands references and memes, and they try to find the vault, which has something in it. Connor, what do you think of Borderlands, directed by Alan Smithy?
Eli Alan Smithy Roth. Well, this is an Alan Smithy production. The writer has taken his name off the project because the movie was so fucking horrendous.
Yep.
And I seem to be in agreement with the film's writer. This movie is fucking horrible. The plot follows a bunch of famous actors who are all very bad in their particular roles, looking for a paycheck. You got Kevin Hart. You got Kate Blanchett, you got Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis. And Jack Black's character in particular is Claptrap, who was obnoxious in the games and is obnoxious in this film. He never shuts the fuck up. Like, there's no time for comedic charm to Claptrap. He doesn't come up to say something quippy and clever at some point in the movie and then kind of go back into the background to disappear for a couple minutes until something else funny Claptrap can commentate on. Which is how, if you're going to do Claptrap, you should do Claptrap. This Claptrap never stops talking, he's singing, he's fucking obnoxious. And I know the point part of Claptrap is that he's obnoxious. That doesn't make it funny. He's still obnoxious. He sucks. And he's annoying. You can't even tell it's Jack Black either, because he doesn't sound like Jack Black. He doesn't do anything particularly Jack Blacky. It's just, it could have been literally anyone saying these truly horrific, unfunny lines, and it would have been fine. But it is Jack Black, so that's kind of a fun piece of trivia. Or Alan Smithy, as he was credited. Kate Blanchett as under the alias Alan Smithy, playing the character Lilith, has to save this little girl because the dad wants to get in the vault, and he created her in a lab, and they shoot people. And
that's
the only thing that's really worthwhile is the set design, which is hampered a lot by the fact that they do a lot of very, very shitty CGI that makes this look like a fucking fan film starring famous people. Like when, I think it was Nathan Fillion did the Uncharted fan film. That's kind of what it feels like. Like, oh, you know, it's cute that the fan film got a famous actor to portray the character. But it's very much like a 3-minute fan film stretched out to an hour and a half, and with a budget. And you don't really see where the budget went, except perhaps to the actors who all phone it in horribly. This is like a career low for Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think is already kind of a mixed actor. Like, occasionally she does some good stuff, like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Are you not excited for Freaky Friday 2 coming out next year?
I don't know. Might be fine. I guess I have no opinion.
Do you think Freaky Friday 2 is going to be as racist as Freaky Friday 1?
No, yeah, maybe. Probably not. Because it's modern. I'm sure they'll comment on it and be like, that's kind of racist. That's kind of racist, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan will be like, I'm so fucking sorry. Then they'll switch bodies or whatever and fuck around. They did remake Freaky Friday. I made a video on that.
Yeah.
Second remake of Freaky Friday. But they're doing a legacy sequel of Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis's other franchise, Halloween, has multiple timelines. Some that get revisited, some that get cut off, but, you know, the idea is the same. I think they should remake The Parent Trap.
Yeah.
But with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Because people think it's mommy and daddy, you know, and
that'd be beautiful.
They could get George Clooney to star. Get the whole Hollywood ecosystem out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's possible. Donald Trump could make an appearance a la Home Alone 2.
They could call it the presidential trap, and it's Joe Biden getting switched with Joe Biden. Joe
Biden's twin brother from Europe or something. His British brother.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But I don't know where that came from. That was a tangent. But yeah, no, you have people like Kevin Hart's in this movie, and he makes his normal shtick. Like, they're like, "You're short," and he's like, "Yeah." Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And everybody in the crowd is supposed to laugh. Like, it's really cheap. Like, do you think when the writer presents Kevin Hart a script, he's like, "Okay, let me see," and he's like, "My character's probably gonna be great and have a lot of dignity," and it's like, you're gonna run around in circles and scream a lot while you shoot machine guns, and then somebody will make a couple short jokes at you, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, you know, the shtick is all there. Let's do it."
At least he gets his dignified sacrifice.
His sacrifice that is quickly undone.
His dignified sacrifice of refusing to get on the elevator with everyone else for no reason.
I will say, occasionally the costume and set design is fine, even though it's just a bunch of Star Wars stormtroopers. Yep. And it's like I'm grasping at straws, because calling the set design fine here when it's sprinkled with CGI and stuff, it's passable. And the cinematography is so piss poor in such an ugly landscape and world with horrible CGI that saying the set design is good doesn't mean that the movie looks good. It's just, you know, the props department, they did what they were supposed to, unlike everybody else working on this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to, you know,
it's hard to believe that this
to find things that are reasonably good about the movie. Like the plot and the action. The plot is paper thin.
Yep.
The action is piss poor.
All the actors
look like they want to die. The characters are all annoying, and I continually forget about each actor. Also, like Jamie Lee Curtis and Kate fucking Kate whatever, being the fucking main stars. Like, could you pick someone? I don't mind if you have one geezer in the movie, but you're gonna start a new action franchise and hire exclusively geezers. Like, Kevin Hart is the youthful energy of this movie, and he's probably like 45. And then you got the little girl who's like I'm minimally 45.
Yeah, Jack Black's the youthful energy, and he's
Jack
60.
Black is probably the youthful energy of the movie as Claptrap.
And he's
but why the fuck did you hire? Like, who the fuck was supposed to sell this movie? Like, really? Like, I'm not saying that they're bad actors. I'm just saying they're miscast. Like, you were making a youthful, memey action movie. You gotta get, like, Glenn Powell and
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney should have been.
Who do the kids like these days?
Who the fuck do the kids like?
Get some more Euphoria people. Powell, the Weekends can be in
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
I think Jared Leto would work as a psycho, you know, as the psycho guy. Christian Bale. He's probably older than Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
But you could get Christian Bale. I wouldn't mind seeing Christian Bale. The last time we saw him was like Thor 4.
I don't think Christian Bale's older than Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, I don't think so, but he's old.
Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty old now, because she was, what, 18, 19 in the 70s?
She's like 65. She's been doing them yogurt commercials for 15 years. Stick to the yogurt commercials, Jamie. No, I'm just saying everybody's like miscast. Like, everybody has their own shtick. I think Kevin Hart and Jack Black would work in an ensemble. Like, why did you get half the cast of the fucking Jumanji remakes? Now I'm starting to think about it.
Yeah, they should have got The Rock in here.
Yes, this would have been fair for The Rock. The Rock is the psycho. Kevin Hart plays his little short sidekick, and he could be like, "You're short, hey, short stack," and he's like, "Stop calling me that." And then Jack Black is Claptrap, and then you just gotta get
Kevin Hart is
girl.
Claptrap, you know?
You can replace.
We just take Jack Black out of the
Dakota. You could get Dakota Fanning or whatever, and she could complain about it. Or not Dakota Fanning. What's her fucking bitch?
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson. She complained. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson's been trying to get a franchise off the ground for 20 years, and he hasn't got one in a minute. Hey, Craven's coming out this year supposedly, so maybe this won't remain the worst, but. I mean, this is like, it's just a disaster. Like, nothing in it makes sense. It's butt fucking ugly. And it got to the point where I just started scrolling TikTok in the theater shamelessly. There were like 3 other people besides me, Aiden, and Grant Newkirk in the theater, but none of them were close enough. I was listening to no sound, but the fact that me, a grown fucking man, who only got TikTok because his girlfriend convinced him to, decided, I'll just start scrolling TikTok in the theater. I never scroll TikTok. I mean, sometimes I do, but like not enough that I don't need to watch TikTok in the theater, but I just like, Claptrap was so annoying that I needed to fucking tune him out. Like, that was the problem. It's like, I think I could have tolerated the weird, terrible choices, but Claptrap is just so fucking horrible and obnoxious. And if I never see the character of Claptrap again, I'd be a happy man. That's why, like, when I played Borderlands 1, which is a fun game on my Nintendo Switch, I turned off the sound. And it's a more enjoyable game when you're just playing it and shooting people and not actually listening to the fucking horrendous dialogue. But Borderlands 1 is certainly the most tolerable of the series. So. Anyways, much like the series Borderlands, it's cringy and obnoxious. But unlike the series, which has somewhat fun gameplay, and some of them are better than others, this is just end-to-end dog shit. So Aiden, what did you think of Borderlands?
Yeah, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania core.
Yep.
It's annoying, it's ugly, it's full of terrible CGI, and no one ever shuts the hell up. Really, the only advantage it has over Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is that movie is like 9 hours long, and otherwise they're pretty much the same movie. This one is a mercifully short 100 minutes with credits. It's mercifully short, extremely painful still. It's like getting stabbed in the brain repeatedly, but it's only an hour and a half of pain instead of 3.5 hours. It does feel a lot longer than its length.
And Ant-Man was only a solid 2 hours, despite how it felt. I remember people were mad because they're like, "Why is it only 2 hours? It's so short. I'm gonna be pissed." And then everybody coped about how the movie was actually secretly good, but no one knew it. And then now everybody just says it's bad.
Yeah. This is the second worst movie of all time, and if Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did not exist, it would be the first worst. Borderlands as a franchise kind of deserved this movie, because the whole game is just like Claptrap is annoying and says Reddit memes that were 3 years out of date before the games came out, and that's its identity, and that's an identity that every game has stuck to. So it really walked so that Rick and Morty could run, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's all just Rick and Morty.
It's all Rick and Morty down here. Rick and Morty is Borderlands core.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's obnoxious. The whole movie, it's PG-13 for some reason. Like, the games themselves were M-rated and violent, and like characters would explode when you shot them. And there's none of that here. It's just like the safest, most boringest, obnoxious PG-13 comedy, which is just characters incessantly talking for 90 minutes. It's a painful, terrible experience. Accurate to the games, unfortunately to say. Very, very accurate adaptation.
Yeah,
but probably
very much lacks charisma. Somehow it lacks charisma and it never shuts the fuck up. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's a miserable watch. There really isn't all that much to say about it. The set and costume designs can be okay. Cate Blanchett looks like she wants to kill herself at every moment.
The whole cast.
Kevin Hart's just doing the Kevin Hart thing, which you could see in about 8 million other movies with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Jack Black is vocoded so hard that he's barely recognizable, and even if he was recognizable, he's fucking obnoxious. Tiny Tina's obnoxious. The villain guy is like some weird Yugoslavian guy who's reading his lines phonetically like Temple of Doom. He's like, get me into the vault. And it's the action sucks. The cinematography is about as flat as you could make it. There's no excitement. It doesn't have any gore. It's not funny. I don't know what to say. The worst thing you can be is a bad comedy, because a bad, like, serious movie can be inadvertently funny.
I just don't get
And
why
a bad
Redditors
comedy
aren't
is
complaining
just-
that this movie's woke.
Because nobody's seen it.
It's not. Yeah, but the problem is it's not woke because it has other races and genders. It's finally addressing ageism in Hollywood because everybody's 90.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to continue this. Kate Blanchett is definitely too old for the role. And I guess they can just write Jamie Lee Curtis out.
They could do the menopause timeline, menopause storyline.
Or they could start shoving in like Activia ads. Keep her on board.
She's like, I need my yogurt.
Hold on a second. Before we go to the vault TM, I need
She starts
Activia.
slurping it down. Claptrap can probably just be recast because that was an expense they didn't need to pay.
And Kevin Hart is probably the lowest paid actor in Hollywood, so he can stick around, I guess. I don't know. I don't
need Kevin Hart to make the short jokes.
I would say that they're kind of cooked on the sequel, but judging by the fact that literally nobody has seen this movie and it's a Titanic flop, we probably don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Let's see what it's sitting at on Rotten Tomatoes.
I only have two Letterboxd. I only have two people on Letterboxd that I follow that have actually reviewed this movie. Besides us.
Borderlands is sitting, it went from a 0% as it initially landed, but now at 94 reviews, 10% of critics have given it a 6 or above.
Wow.
With the audience sitting at 50%, with 250 plus certified reviews.
I know it was sitting at 4% when the embargo was up, which is great.
No, when the embargo was lifted, it was at 0, and then but like, what the fuck could the I want to see what the positive reviews are. I want to filter by positive and see what these 9 critics have said. Where's the goods? Can I not filter? Oh, here's one. The cast is top notch, and the connection between Tiny Tina and Lilith is one of the most striking points. From Andrea from Sinai Premiere. Fuck you, Andrea. Abby Bernstein says a quasi-decent video game movie adaptation.
The best praise you can get is quasi-decent.
Let's see. Even like the most fedoric, like, I'm sure if I clicked on their pages and they would like fucking love Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumanium can't. Let's see what Aaron Peterson from the Hollywood Outsider says. I can't believe the Hollywood Outsider. Not everything needs to achieve high art, and these games are fantastically ridiculous as well, so it fits the world. If you leave fan casting at the door and just want a fun time laughing and nudging your friends, Borderlands is an enjoyable romp.
Laughing at what?
I fucking don't know. No one in our theater was
Kevin
laughing.
Hart short jokes?
Susanna Polo of Polygon liked it. She said, if you're looking for an afternoon of silly goofs, great costumes, fun action, and Kate Blanchett showing up to work, you could do worse than Borderlands. What? Literally what? Out of the list you've named, find a worse movie. Okay, let's keep digging. It's kind of getting harder and harder to find a positive review. I feel like the more recent reviews are trying... Oh, Maria Lalito of Film Stories says... Borderlands probably won't be remembered as a great video game adaptation, but there's a lot of fun to be had with it. 3 out of 5. Okay. That was considered a fresh review on Rotten Tomatoes. Jillian Roman of MovieWeb. MovieWeb, fuck those guys. They're dumbasses. They get really mad at Facebook commenters. I've gotten more than one fight with them. Cate Blanchett leads an all-star cast in a Borderlands video game series adaptation that will suffice open-minded fans and get predictably trashed by highbrow critics. The beloved first-person shooter and its players won't be disappointed. Score 2.5 out of 5. Considered
2.5 out of 5.
That's considered
It got a
fresh.
50%, and their only
She was like
criticism.
mad.
Art house critics do not understand Borderlands. 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. Tatiana Huliner. Borderlands rushes through too many plot points for its own good,
Yep.
but it's saved by a likable cast and willingness to lean into video game moments. 3.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's generous.
I haven't seen anyone like that was a 7 out of 10, which how the fuck. Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer. Everybody loves Grace Randolph. You know where you love her. I've never played the games, but I got kind of a kick out of Blanchett starring in a movie like this and doing a great job. I do wish the script had been adjusted to be a bit better to accommodate her age. Blanchett fans will enjoy this. Not sure about anyone else. Positive review.
I wish
Grace Randolph is the biggest dumbass ever, but that's okay.
It kind of seemed the entire time like Cate Blanchett was hoping there'd be an Alec Baldwin
And
incident
that
on
was it.
set involving her.
Yeah, no, they all seem like they wouldn't have minded if, like, something happened to them.
Yeah.
Of course,
it's,
Grace Randolph would give it a positive score.
It's fucking tremendously bad. It is one of the worst movies.
I think
is
perhaps
easily
if
the
we
wor-
were female, we'd understand. Because one thing that all of the critics that gave it a positive score had in common was being female.
Maybe
So
this
maybe
is
we're
a
just not
feminist
woke.
movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Perhaps belittling the short black man.
yeah, I think the only movie that comes close this year is Madam Web, but Madam Web has some kind of ironic value. Like every time
I also think, while Madam Web is pretty ugly and has some hilariously bad costumes, I would say the cinematography is better enough that I'm going to give the edge to Madam Web.
Yeah. Well, Madam Web, like every time when I saw her in the costume, I started laughing. When the villain gets killed by Pepsi, I started laughing. Every time they have to
Yeah.
dance around saying Peter, I started laughing.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's a lot more than
there's
I
a lot
ever
of
laughed
cringe.
in Borderlands.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's multiple things that I think raise the even perhaps ironic enjoyment value of Madam Web, but like in terms of just being like a fucking shining rock turd, I think they're both. It's very fair to say both of them are the lowest possible score you could give a Hollywood blockbuster. Like I think they're both
they're
equally terrible, but if I had to pick one to watch today, it would be Madam Web. I have no desire to ever see Borderlands again in my life.
Yeah,
And I hope everyone involved doesn't work. Even people like Eli Roth. We haven't always been mean to him. We thought Thanksgiving was fine.
yeah.
Hopefully you never work again after this. The guy who was Alan Smithy on the writers, like, good try, he claimed, I didn't write it, bro, I swear. You're fired. You're never working again. Lionsgate,
I can't
closing the
believe this
doors.
is written by the esteemed director behind Hellraiser 6.
Yeah. This is a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit.
Anyway.
Connor, would you recommend Borderlands?
No. It's not even like Madam Web. Like I said, I can't. Ironically, it was miserable.
Yeah, it's
And it's not like so bad it's good. It's not so bad there's something funny to latch onto. Like, Madam Web had me rolling at a few points. Like, it was miserable, yes, and I hated it, yes, and it was terrible, yes. But this movie has all of those things, except it's even more annoying and hard to watch. Like, good actors being bad in this movie is worse than weird guy from Madam Web, who was just a terrible actor, but he was ripped and looks the way they wanted him, so they made him evil Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fine, you know. And I think even the awful actresses and performances that they put through on Madam Web was far better than anything anyone in this movie portrayed. And the Claptrap was such an embarrassment. Claptrap is the biggest failure of a Minions rip-off character that has ever existed. And I feel like even the most fedoric individuals of all time can probably even admit that he's awful. So, no, I don't recommend Borderlands. I recommend you don't hate watch Borderlands, because like with Madam Web,
Don't worry, nobody is.
I wanted people to hate watch Madam Web so we could get more. Maybe not Madam Web, but Sony's universe of Spider-Man movies is gold. I mean, Morbius into Madam Web and Craven's coming next. Like, Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir TV series for Amazon Prime is filming right now. But they can't call it Spider-Man Noir because they can't say Spider-Man because their agreement with Marvel. So it's called Spider Noir. And Nicolas Cage is presumably just gonna dance around the fact that he's Peter Parker or something. It's based, it's epic, I love it.
My name is P.
Sony keeps giving us, like, we used to be annoyed by Sony. I want Sony to keep giving me what I love, and that's dog shit garbage. Dog shit garbage like this doesn't have a place on this planet. I hope the movie disappears and never comes back. So Aiden, would you recommend Borderlands?
Absolutely not. The worst thing you can be, is a bad comedy. A bad movie can be funny. A bad comedy isn't funny. Pretty much the only so bad it's good comedy that's ever been made is The Master of Disguise. And I don't know if I can come up with another example.
Master of Disguise
This is certainly not one.
Master of Disguise is that unicorn case, you know, where it's a comedy so funny, bad, and deadpan because everybody thinks it's hilarious, too. Like, no one looks miserable in Master of Disguise because everybody thinks they're cooking.
Yeah.
Every single person on Master of Disguise thinks they're cooking. Everyone in this movie knows what it was and knows what it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And looked miserable, and the movie was old, and people were on contract for the movie for way too fucking long, and it was hobbled together and made this. Master of Disguise, every motherfucker thought they were cooking, and they were doing it for America, because keep in mind, this was right after 9/11.
During 9/11.
During 9/11, they were filming Master of Disguise. The most patriotic thing to do was to keep making the movie and keep believing.
Bring the spirit back to America.
They made one of the shittiest movies of all time. But shitty in the best way possible. Master of Disguise is a gem. Borderlands can rot in hell.